I mean, I think you can always do a one-on-one with West if you wanted to.
I are recording for his sake, regardless.
That is true. However, the stuff I was going to go over with him, I wanted everybody to be aware of, so I will just save that for the beginning of next arc.
Yeah, that's fine.
Make sure to make notes so you don't forget.
Ease. I have a full page of notes, actually. But yeah, I mean, so basically just going straight into downtime. Everybody, it's a simple matter to get back and forth between the locations once you're rested. And I think basically just go into what downtime activities did everybody want to get up to?
I will probably suggest that we wait until the hell denizens that are kicking around the temple are ready to go back before we go back to Majanessus and then do our promised research then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that gives us a few days to I don't know.
Once you get back, that's 2 more days until they're ready to leave. They're not asking to leave at that time, but if you ask them at that point, they are ready to leave. So for people who are enchanting things, you can mark that down.
Basically,
I think it would be a good idea, Jamie, for you to establish who is willing to continue helping enchanting things and then just keep track of that on your own instead of having to ask every night.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I did tighten that up down at the bottom there. So
if you want what Corwin was doing, he'll continue to do that.
What was Corwin doing?
Bigby's hand.
Okay.
Does working on Jamie's thing stop our own progress?
No. You can do enchanting on multiple items in one day. You just can't have multiple people enchant one item in one day and have it count. There's multiple things. Excluding the Mythalar, of course.
Lycra will reach out to... sorry, my brain isn't working properly, Ty. Liz, and ask for assistance every day with trying to get over the last threshold on the reincarnation transmogrify spell. Is it okay if Liz helps every day with that, or...
Liz is busy working on so many different projects right now. You will help with that. You will help with the Mythalar. You will continue working on our high-quality necklace and coffee pot of doom.
Yes. Let's see. I feel like the high-quality necklace is probably getting close to being done.
Yeah, I haven't worked on it that much, so it kind of got put to the side for a bit.
Okay. Yeah, both the coffee pot and the high quality necklace are more than done. I haven't been checking. So Liz has a little more free time on her hands. I will make a note on those.
Okay, so Corwin is doing Bigby's hand. I need to write down who's...
Liz was doing Staff of Healing.
Okay.
Yes, which, Jamie, we should discuss, first of all, what that does, and second of all, how long that's going to take, because there's not just a spell for Staff of Healing.
Sure. Identify and Javelin of Lightning, I think, are going to go away because those are Zagden. And he is also going away.
Can I just-
Yes. However, in that time, you could just finish Identify. Because
It
it's
is a
only
first
3
level
days
spell.
for a first level spell.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that.
And if you
Identify
want to
will get
leave
finished.
Javelin of Lightning on there, it doesn't have to be Zagdan that completes it. If somebody else has access to that spell.
What spell was it? Were they using?
Lightning Bolt.
I don't think I have lightning bolt anymore.
I think there's enough. I mean, there's already a lightning spell in this orb, so I'm happy to just let that one fizzle.
Staff of healing that can either be mass cure wounds or just cure wounds, depending on how you do it. Cure wounds would theoretically take shorter time, although you can't upcast magic item spells, can you? Or is it just use more charges, Nibbles?
I'm
Actually, that's
pretty sure, like, just the item itself, no, you can't upcast that.
so. Actually, that's a good question because Estella has not done any enchanting, but she's gonna start enchanting this thing. All of my spells are upcast, but I think it doesn't matter.
I
I see.
believe that's
So-
what we've decided before. 'cause
Yeah, if you're going for, like, a first level effect, but you cast a spell at 5th level, it's still first level effect, yes.
Okay. Is it a problem if I enchant this item with a spell and then at a future level up get rid of that spell? And change it out for a different one?
You can't make it forget, but there's no limit to the amount of effects it can have. There's just a limit to the amount of effects that can be active at one time.
Sure, but something that I don't use very often, like, I don't know, clairvoyance
Or Druidcraft.
or druidcraft. Or mind spike.
I mean, we mind spike you with our weird questions, so you should be able to mind spike us back.
But yeah, I mean, that's not a problem. You can put one on there and then just stop using it when you don't want to
Okay.
anymore.
Cool. Okay, so I have Bigby's hand that's being done by Corwin. Chill Touch, which I assume is being done by Andrea.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Healing Staff. Identify. Are you sure a first level spell is only 3 days? I thought it was 7.
Maybe it's a cantrip that's 3 days. Let me
I
pull up
think-
the document.
We can fudge it.
I'm pretty sure it's
you're
cantrip
correct.
3.
It is 7 days for a first level spell.
We were in the camp for 3 days.
He didn't do it every day.
There's only 1 day from the camp. I mean, I guess he can just stay around until it's finished.
Yeah, that's not a problem. Once you get back to the Hells, he's still in Nessus where you are, so
Mm-hmm.
you can just go knock on his door every day and ask for an hour.
Yeah, I guess I can just hang out in the house for a few days.
I'm so old. Come knock on my door.
Javelin of Lightning is going away. Gem of Revivify?
That was what Embers was working on.
And if Embers is still in the prime material plane, their they're probably happy to continue working on that if you want.
But that's a 3rd level. That's like a month.
Yeah.
30,
I don't think
I
we're
think.
waiting around for a month.
Embers will try to disappear if the party suggests they go back to hell.
Okay. So Embers is just gone.
Yeah, I think
That's
the
fine.
Jump of Vivify spell will just fizzle. And then Darkness. And it says 10 days, so I assume that was one of the NPCs.
Correct.
If you want darkness, Corwin can do that as well. And I can cast darkness via sorcery points, so it's not even using up a spell slot. As a shadow mage ability, a shadow sorcerer ability. So I can do 2.
Okay, I thought that we had said that another caster can't take over the...
I mean, worst
Cast it
case,
from someone else, but
you
I
abandon
can't
it and then...
I didn't say that. If you want to say that, that's fine. But I don't mind one way or the other.
You could argue that it... Like, if you want to go that route, I mean, you could argue, just to make it reasonable, that magic operates on different wavelengths in the same way that an LED light is not the same as an incandescent light, but they both make light.
I think maybe... You know what? I think maybe you could take over the casting of a spell if it was from a person of the same class as you.
That makes sense.
A sorcerer can take over a sorcerer's spell, but they can't take over a druid's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in that case, we need to determine what class this guy was. Darkness could be a sorcerer, warlock, or wizard spell. Wizards don't exist, so sorcerer for 1, warlock for 2.
I mean, we know one wizard. She's cute.
They were a warlock.
Okay.
And Jamie doesn't, or Estella does not know darkness.
Correct.
Only the darkness in her soul.
I want to argue that Corwin is a sorcerer warlock cleric.
That's true, however, mechanically he's a sorcerer.
Okay, so that just goes away. Does anybody else want to start enchanting this with a particular spell?
Once I finish the staff.
Yeah.
Because we'll make comments about, in the future.
After the campaign's over.
Does Estella want mansion?
Ooh.
That's going to take a long goddamn time.
That's gonna take a long ass time. I would maybe say start mansion after your big thing is done.
I mean, I can still do it because it's a different spell slot.
That's true. I guess I'm feeling a little bit metagamey in that.
Yes, she would like mansion, but you don't want to abuse. I understand.
Well, also just like how long does it take to enchant a 7th level spell? Like half a year or something?
Do we even know? I know you know.
I don't know if anybody else
we-
knows. But yeah, 120 days.
That's only 3 months.
I
This
will-
group has been together longer than that.
4 months.
I do it backwards. Yeah, 4 months.
111 days so far, Nibbles.
We've literally taken a 6-month break at one point in this campaign.
That is true.
That's true. Okay, sure.
Then mark 2 days on Mansion.
I also have a question about Gem of Revivify that maybe hasn't come up, or we said something about that and I just forgot. Revivify has consumable components that cost money.
Yeah, I think it maybe channels the spell, but you still need the consumable components.
Yes, and also it doesn't actually matter because that one is going kaput because I don't think Embers is going to be sticking around for that
Right.
long.
But I mean, it might be useful to establish it does enchanting a spell that requires gold components require those components.
I think you could probably get away with not having those components if it is an item with finite charges.
Okay.
I was going to say, I
But
think things like Healing Staff have Revivify or similar effects in them. So yeah.
but I think they have to have non-rechargeable charges.
Or at least destructible charges.
I think that makes sense. So, like, the Gem of Revivify would just be a one-time kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that you probably have to put those materials into the creation of the object.
Yeah,
Like that
makes
gold
sense.
has to be spent at some point in the process. So if it's not at the end result when it's being cast, then it's in the creation of the item.
Right. So, like, the target of the Gem of Revivify would be a 300 gold diamond.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
I need 5 minutes to go do part 2 of my stew now.
Okay.
I will be back.
Are we 5-minute breaking or are we,
Yeah, if you got something you want to do, I say go for it.
just a bio break? So I'll be right back. lightly salted chips.
Okay, I am back. But I will need to duck again in 20 minutes. For a shorter amount of time.
20 minutes chili.
All right. So has that sorted out all of our enchanting questions for now? I have a feeling we'll have another one after a couple more long rests. But
Question about how we worked Shadowblade with Endarda. Is it Endarda casting it, or is it Corwin casting it? Because I enchanted it into Endarda.
Oh, you're talking about
but
the thing
Endarda's-
that gives her form?
No, Shadowblade. The spell Shadowblade.
You'll have to refresh me on this. I'm not recalling what the point here was.
Well, the point is it using to activate it? Is it something that Endarda does, or is it using one of my spell slots? And if so, if it is not using any of my spell slots, would it or would it not be affected by things like Quicken meta magic? There is no wrong answer, by the way.
So the Shadow Blade is not something that she has yet. That was what we were discussing for when she gets to level 3.
Okay, so that's something I currently
The only thing
have.
that she has is the image projection right now.
Okay, so Shadowblade is just a spell I have.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then I guess.
And when she gains that, it will not be a spell. It will just be
An effect.
An effect of the weapon. Yeah.
Okay. Then that answers my question, because it was a question of if I could teach Endarda how to use meta magic. But the point is moot. So
it's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't matter.
True.
Okay.
So yeah, I will start my own enchanting on this item. I will start enchanting it with Mind Spike.
That sounds good to me. Is there anything else anybody wanted to get up to besides enchanting?
Would it make sense, Nibbles, to do the thing I was talking about before we go to the library, or?
I think that's up to you.
Okay, well, I guess first things first is he's just going to gather everyone together and just say, okay, we've got the Mythlar back. That's great. We need to deal with the cleric next. And I can't really take no for an answer.
I'm down. I know she's a problem, and we got to deal with her at some point.
And remind me, we need to fight her in the dream, or
No.
what do we know about her?
She's insane. She has access to the
Okay.
dream, and she is killing people who should not be dead yet.
Her name is in my notes somewhere.
The long and the short of it is, this is the former cleric of the god of death, and during the events that happened in Murata that led up to its destruction, basically all that death at one time kind of broke her mind, and she has started spending time in the dream terrorizing and killing people that she traps there for unknown reasons.
And Miracle is very unhappy with that.
Yes, they have taken offense to her actions.
Do we?
Because she is still technically their cleric, and while she lives, they can't hire another cleric.
Yep.
Which is kind of necessary for the god of death to have a ambassador in the realm of the living. Sorry, what were you saying, Jamie?
Do we collectively have a way to track her down?
You
Because
have scryed on her
we've
several
scryed.
times previously.
But it doesn't give us a location.
That's why I'm gonna go talk to the boss man.
Who's the boss man?
Miracle.
Oh, okay.
See if I can get any more information, and I'm sure he's aware, but keep him apprised of where we are and what we're doing.
Okay. How?
I look at the dog. Take me home.
Is this an effect that the dog can do? I'm
No,
not familiar
no,
with
I'm
this.
trying to RP it, Nibbles.
Okay.
I'm trying to roll cool shit.
The dog will jump up and lick you in the face.
No. Yes, I love you too, buddy. Down.
Aw, you're his home.
Woof. Intelligence of 4.
Hey Liz, how do you get in contact with your god?
Physical or mental?
This is probably an in-person conversation.
I points for the wall she goes through.
It's just a wall right now.
I'm gonna just leave it with me. I'll figure it out. I think Gore maybe just goes for a walk to the graveyard.
Maybe
If
we
you
need to
would-
find your god's temple.
If you would like to roll a wisdom check, I can give you a very unhelpful tip.
Sure.
Ray.
There's definitely one way you've gotten in contact with the god of death before.
I'm gonna go. I am gonna go speak to a dead person.
Lycra waves the diamond she has for Ray's dead.
No.
Okay, yeah. Are you gonna like dig up a graveyard, or are you gonna go
I'm
to a?
gonna try to commune with the spirit and say, "Can you let Miracle know that I need to speak with them?" You're on that side of the fence.
This is just speak with dead, right?
Yeah, it's my speak with dead feature.
Boy, you're really challenging the existential definition of some of the words in this spell.
Sure am. I am a firm believer that sometimes you just need to take the mechanics and throw them out the fucking window.
Okay, give me a persuasion check. After some conversation with this particular dead individual, they have agreed to pass the message along. You are unclear on whether or not that's actually possible, though.
Okay. If I don't hear anything within 24 hours, I'm going to try to scry him.
Okay.
Them.
So, yes, everybody can mark down another thing of enchanting, and you do not, and I'll just let you know that the spell fails because Miracle is not currently on the prime material plane.
Liz would like to ask for intervention from her god to help Corwin get tucked.
Okay. Yes, go ahead and make the divine intervention roll. And please fail it.
You're welcome.
I mean, that's pretty high.
Yeah, well, it needs to be low.
I assume this guy just says, "Oh hell no!"
Don't talk to that idiot. He tried to kill us. He tried to take us a while ago. I see the god of death also takes gods when they die.
That has been heavily implied.
You are further challenging existential definitions of words. I'm not saying no to the idea, but I can't think of a way to accomplish this without causing other problems elsewhere.
All right, Corwin's going to go get a big tub of ice and water and start sitting in it.
That's not necessarily the solution that I meant.
Okay, I don't know what you meant.
I assume you were talking about him dying and we bring him back to life after a couple minutes.
That's why I was going with the flatliners route.
That was what I meant tongue in cheek. I wasn't actually implying that you should do that, though.
I was going with frighteners, but yes.
Corwin's a bit dumb sometimes.
Yeah.
Corbin, what are you doing with all of that ice?
Well, if I lower my heart
get
rate,
ice?
Lycra's standing over top of the tub, just casting ice into it.
Have you seen what my spells can do? Also, don't look at the pond. It's missing several liters of water. Tens of liters of water.
My water.
And why the ice?
Well, if I lower my heart rate and put myself in a near-death experience, I might be able to talk to them.
Why don't you just wait for him to come to you?
Stella, this is me. Do you think I have that amount of patience?
I think a god doesn't care about your amount of patience.
Estella, this is me.
Couldn't he just not take you?
Fine.
As you're sitting in the tub of ice having this argument, make an Arcana check for me, please. Okay. As you all are having this argument with Corwin in the tub,
As he slowly turns blue.
he just there is a distortion on his clothes in the front of him, and he just levitates up out of the tub and is gently set down next to it.
What? Hey, stop that.
I think your god just told you no.
And nobody sees anything. That just happens. And
This is where Corwin gets spanked for being bad.
Shit. Andarta's your focus, isn't it? Isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Similar to a sending spell, but more along the lines of what it would sound like actually getting a message over a tin can with a string.
Uh-huh.
You just
Bad connection.
hear, I don't know anything else. I've already told you all I know. Stop
Fine.
trying to kill yourself, you insane person.
All
Scott's
right.
gonna be like, I need to stop taking people, just not have anybody on prime material.
Listen, Corwin's mind is a little frazzled after all of his experiences. He's a little insane.
To be fair, this is only really possible because of the events that led to Corwin's mind being frazzled. This is not something a god can normally do. You get the message that all the information that is available has already been imparted.
All right. And I think Corwin all of a sudden has a brainwave. And it's like, okay, we need to go to the library. The library. They might have information.
On the. Oh, actually, isn't
I have-
she a devil?
Checks back into memory.
He is human.
She's human. She just appears
Oh.
as a devil.
Oh, okay.
But hey, what if we figure out a way to track someone who's in the dream to their physical location of their body? What if, maybe, because we've seen him use Dream, Asmodeus has that information buried somewhere in his library about other ways to access and use the Dream World.
Corwin, I think that's a great idea. And she claps him on the shoulder. Not.
Corwin is standing there naked, dripping.
Oh, Jesus, you take her clothes off too?
Yeah.
I
wouldn't you?
cast Gus to dry him off.
Well, then I guess Miracle picked you up by your hair and not your shirt. You insane sorcerer.
Lycra casts Rhyme's blinding ice into the tub one more time just for fun.
The tub is now frozen solid.
Listen, it's an alternate plane of existence. Your mind has to get from your brain to there somehow, right? Why not the
No,
inverse?
I think it's a great idea. Estella secretly does not think it's a great idea, but she's not going to tell him that at this point.
I've heard worse ideas.
She wants him to stop trying to kill himself.
No, he's completely just veered 90 degrees at this point to this idea. You may have to remind him to put clothes on before he leaves the room.
Yeah, you. Oh God.
Corwin, clothing.
Huh? Oh, yeah, right.
No shoots, no sir. No, no shoot, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
He gets Fred to start dressing him.
Okay,
All right, well-
so we're going to hell again.
Yeah, but first I'm gonna go get my stew.
Okay.
Give me a few minutes.
Yes, that is fair.
I think, yeah, we'll do that, Nibbles, before we go to hell.
Okay, thank you.
I'll wait for Jamie to get back before I actually do it, though.
I figured out I could have got most people home. I could have banished them.
That's true.
Yeah.
But not everyone, so it's probably better I didn't do that. Made the mistake earlier of thinking, oh, hey, I haven't coughed today.
Rip.
I've now had like a 2-minute long coughing fit. I'm tired of being sick.
I can strongly sympathize with that feeling. Huskies really are just God's special little children, aren't they?
God's special little screaming hell boxes.
No, this one's not screaming. This
That's a
one's utterly failing at digging a hole. I put it in the cat channel.
That's not a cat.
We don't have a dog channel.
Time to add an other animals channel.
Is that a husky or is that a Shiba?
I think it's a Shiba.
As I thought it was a husky.
Nice. Too small, and the curl tail gives it away.
I'm back, but I'm going to be muted because I'm eating. Or I guess
Okay.
I'll just go and push to talk.
Okay, before we go that night, Corwin is going to attempt to scry on... What's her name?
Okay.
We're chill.
So
Oh,
to
sure.
remind you, previously on your scry attempts, you have seen a campsite in
The desert.
what you, I'll just say, accurately assumed to be the ruins of Murata.
Right, yes.
One time you caught her just chilling. One time you caught her asleep, presumably dreaming. This time she is not on this plane.
Huh.
Can you tell what plane it is?
Nope.
No, because the spell fails.
Oh.
Well, that's concerning. Huh. Okay. There's nothing I can do beyond that I can think of. Unless I'm being incredibly dense.
Well, we can try in the next plane. We can
Yeah.
try in the next plane again, see if she's over there.
Yeah, I'll try in the hills in case she's there, but I doubt she's there. There was a... What portal was on Murata? There was a storm giant there, and there was a portal to the plane of air.
That is correct. However, I'm pretty sure you closed that, did you
Oh
not?
yeah, we did close it.
Yeah.
And I doubt even she could get to the portal deep in the ocean.
Doesn't seem like it.
Water breathing could get you there. Theoretically, I don't know how water breathing deals with pressure.
That is a question I had not thought about and am not prepared to answer at this time.
Yeah. So yeah, to the hells.
Okay. To the hells. You are given directions to get to the secret archive. It actually, honestly, isn't that secret, but you are given access. And as you are shown around, you are each given, well, not given, you are each accompanied by a scribe of sorts to assist you with whatever you would like to look up. They carry around a pad and pen wherever you go, and assist with research notes or, whatever you need assistance with. This gives the effect of not having to roll to look for things.
Huzzah.
So who wants to research stuff first?
Don't all go at once.
Corwin has stuff in plan, so he's gonna ask them. I'm looking for ways to possibly track a person either through their dreams to where they are in the physical world, or across planes.
Okay, and they give you all the magical knowledge they have about this. So tracking someone in the dream, there is... So somebody who is not physically in the dream is tethered in some way to their body. They don't have any information on what sort of tether that is, but theoretically somebody with enough magical knowledge might be able to discover that tether and trace it back to its source. As far as being physically in the dream or finding someone in the dream who is projecting themselves, there's not a concrete way to do it, but as with pretty much anything else in the dream, if you can dream it and you have enough willpower, you can do it.
Okay.
Now, I'm not there, although maybe I stop on occasion. But I do have a question about all this.
Mhm.
The part of the dream spell, like the original dream spell, where you can dream, like you can target a person and they have to make a save and all that stuff. Can you do that on the spell where you actually physically go into the dream? Or is that like a you have to be in your own body kind of thing?
I'm not sure I understand the question. So, like, you're saying, could you send other people into the dream without accompanying
No.
them?
The part of the dream spell, like the 5th level spell where you target somebody and they make a save and they fail, and then you give them nightmares and they take damage.
Okay.
Can you still have that effect if you, instead of using the dream spell as you are like on the prime material sleeping, use it to physically put yourself in the dream? Or do you have to use the 5th level version?
I see what you mean. You couldn't.
Do we even know?
I'll say yes. Like you maybe don't know, but that information is available, or you can just check real quick. Basically, how that would mechanically work is if you were physically in the dream, you would just cast the spell again.
Okay.
And since you're in the dream, you can just do that, basically. You don't have to worry about spell slots and stuff. If you have enough willpower.
Okay.
I think I'm understanding. Well, maybe I'm not understanding the reason you're asking that question.
I was just curious. Because like the thing that put us onto Wirchel's track in the first place was that she was killing people using the dream.
Mhm.
Presumably because they took damage.
I believe you uncovered the information that what was happening at that particular time when you encountered her is that people can occasionally just accidentally brush up against the realm of the dream while they're dreaming. So what she was doing was finding people that happened to and just like getting them.
Pushing their proverbial soap bubbles together.
Got it.
But yes, if she was physically in the dream, she could also just do that to people by casting the spell.
And sorry,
carry on.
Did that include my question about tracking across planes as well, or was that purely all dream information?
That was all dream. Tracking across planes. I don't know of a spell that does that. If there is a spell that does that, they have information about it.
Well, I mean, like the Spirit of Death spell, the Haunt ability lets me track them across planes.
That's a good point.
So there is some precedent for an effect being able to transcend planar distances.
Let's see what Google has to say.
I have a really weird interaction. Just a question once you're done.
In Nibbles,
Yes.
before you get into that, the scrying spell doesn't mention planes at any point in its text.
Does it not? I thought we went over that before.
Nope.
There's so many cross. You see and hear a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I knew I wasn't crazy. Okay, so there is the 5th level Warlock spell, Contact Other Plane. That could potentially come in handy. Some people are saying Commune? Oh. Well, yeah. Commune is also a possibility.
And that's a spell that Liz can just have instead of us having to wait for another level up so I can take Contact Other Plane.
Yeah.
It's actually a ritual spell, so this can cast it right now.
Divination would also have the same effect. They're basically the same spell. What? But druids and wizards can also do divination.
It's
And
also
the DM can make divination as obscure and obtuse as they want.
Yeah. Divination is also not a yes or no.
Yeah. Okay, so commune is an option. Let me keep looking here.
Yeah, so divination, commune. So let's just sort all spells by divination. This is probably going to just have our answers in it somewhere.
Jesus Christ, I can't believe I've never looked at this spell. I absolutely need to take Contact Other Plane.
I thought you had done it once already.
No.
Hmm.
I didn't even realize this was on my spell list.
Legend lore? Name or describe a person, place, or object. The spell brings to your mind a brief summary of the significant lore about the thing you named. Lore might be consistent of current tales, forgotten stories, or even secret lore that has never been widely known.
this is another spell Liz has.
That's a... No, you're a cleric. You have the spell. You just have to prepare it.
Yes, this is another spell Liz has.
Oh, I thought you said doesn't have. Sorry.
Yeah, I also thought you said this is not a spell that Liz has.
Oh, I
Is it-
said it is.
I just saw another thing and completely forgot. Yeah, legend lore could help.
Legend lore is not likely to get you an exact location, though.
No, but it could give us information on like places she might visit or her goals or things like that. It's those spells from what I can see: commune, divination, and legend lore. Those are the
You also do have the ability just to bounce around all of the planes that you've been on and use scrying.
yeah, once a day. While we're in the hills, I will attempt to scry and see if she's here.
She's not.
She's not here. If we can get a Feywild in at some point, I'll check there, but I don't know how many days we're spending in the library. Many, as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm sure there are many things people want to do.
There's not a big issue if we go to the Feywild and
Corwin,
Yes?
could she be in the dream?
Do you want to take me there and find out tonight?
Sure.
Time zones are the same across planes, right, Nibbles?
Yes. However, last you knew physically, she was
In Murata.
a couple time zones to the west. But, you know.
That just means we stay up a little later.
I mean, if she's
Ew.
physically in the dream, the time doesn't matter.
True.
all right, give me 3 questions.
Okay, is Wershel physically manifesting themselves in the dream and staying there?
Yes.
Are you currently in the dream? You can't lie.
You're asking your god if they're currently in the dream?
No, I get to contact a divine being.
Oh, you're
She is
contacting
Claire.
her?
Is this not the plan?
I thought you were using. Well, I mean, she wouldn't say yes to that.
She doesn't get a choice. She gets to say yes or no.
This is this divination or the other one?
This is commune. She's a cleric, which means she's classified as a divine being. Or
I like what you're doing. I just want to set the precedent that this can be used against you.
Yeah, it can.
Interesting. I mean, it definitely says deity or divine proxy.
Is that not what a cleric is?
In case we're going
In normal universes, probably not. In this universe, probably.
That sounds like a Jamie question.
I mean, compelling an answer from an enemy that can't be a lie seems really powerful, even for a 5th level spell.
Cast it at 8 level if you want.
I don't know. What do you think, Jamie? Like, there's not even a save on this.
Jesus Christ, I forgot I was on push to talk.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, problem solved. The spirit of the spell is that you contact your god, like the god that you have a connection with, or a divine proxy for your god. I think.
Oh,
is
it does
what the
say
spell is.
your, which means Liz is the divine proxy.
Mhm. You
So
can ask yourself.
you're asking your god basically to use their powers to give you a yes or no answer because they have access to more information than any human brain could possibly hold.
Okay. Then the first
Okay.
question was, is
So,
she
yes.
hiding?
To answer your question, your first question to your god, as far as they can tell, she has been spending a significant, if not all of her time, physically in the dream.
Is she currently there?
Yes.
Does she have plans to remain there for the foreseeable future?
I don't feel like you could answer that.
Well, that's a yes or no question. I mean, they would look into that person's soul and go, does it seem likely that...
I, as DM, am going to intervene and say the god would not necessarily know that answer.
Okay.
I don't feel like the god would know that. That's knowing a human spirit.
To be clear, I was going to wait until I had decided whether or not they wanted to ask the question, and the answer would have been unclear. Because that is part of the spell.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
I have one last question, because I would not ask that one, because I wouldn't think it would know that.
Hmm.
Is this something I should be doing?
You receive a soft yes. You get the sense that they're attempting to communicate. If that's something you feel drawn to do, it is a worthy use of your time.
So she drops out of her ritual. She's in the dream.
Okay.
And since it's a yes or no question, I don't think she would know that it's just been common. Like, Nibbles, you added more words than I think she would have gotten.
Yeah. In the case where a one-word answer could be misleading or contrary to the deity's interests, the DM might offer a short phrase as an answer instead.
Read the spell. It tells you what the spell does.
Reading the spell explains the spell.
Believe me, y'all make me very pedantic, so I always read the spells.
She has been spending a lot of time there, so we don't need to go right away, but
Yeah, it gives us an opportunity to potentially spy on her as well. That's another question that just popped in my head. What does long-term effect of living in the dream have on someone?
I have no idea. That sounds like something you should research.
Yeah, it does.
and let me know what you find.
that sounds interesting. Liz looks into it.
I will say, I'll just give you this for free since it's something that Estella at least would definitely know. It's only possible to do this in 8-hour chunks. So, at the minimum, she's recasting this spell every 8 hours somehow. You can't just go there and then not leave forever.
Gotcha. So there's a chance we can catch her outside of the dream.
Assuming she's using the spell. Now, she could have found another way into the dream.
Okay, more things to research. Thanks, Nibbles. You're doing this to yourself.
Well, if you want to have a look up,
I do.
other than the spell, Asmodeus and his information currently has no other ways of accessing the dream as far as he is aware. Outside of the information about accidentally doing it.
Could one create a complex magical item that would automatically cast the dream spell every 8 hours, keeping you perpetually asleep?
That does seem within the realm of possibility.
Still, my brain scares me.
Let's see. No, that did happen before you created the Mythalar, didn't it? The destruction of Murata.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it technically has been enough time to create such an item.
I mean, if you were really set on staying in the dream and never having to leave, I'm sure you could create an item that would do that.
I'm just more wondering what her motivations are for staying in the dream. Is it escaping reality? Is it making it easier for her to do whatever insane thing she wants to do? Both?
You could give me an insight check if you want.
Sure.
You might not get much information, but you could see what you can come up with based off of what you know.
Even suddenly becoming
Sure.
proficient at insight, he's like, huh?
Poor Cor- Hold on, how's that? Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. No, unable to ascertain any further information at this time.
So I would have done this if you had said something a little bit longer, but this is like happy right now. She's talking nerd shit and magic. She would have helped him with working through this if you wanted.
I will leave that up to Nibbles.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Anything that you're doing specifically about magic, sure, but this was more looking into the motivations of this
Okay.
individual, and so I don't think
Liz is
advantage would have
completely
applied
ignored.
in this
Eh.
case.
If anything, Liz would give disadvantage on it.
Now, if you would like to roll a separate insight check, I'd allow that, just based off the stuff you know. You're all sitting around chatting. 18. Okay.
19.
Oh, you were intentionally doing that at advantage.
Yes, Liz gets advantage on insight rolls.
That's busted.
It is.
The best you can come up with is it just seems like a more efficient use of her resources.
Like the fact that she doesn't have to go in and out, meaning she's not burning spell slots.
No, more of
Or because she can manipulate the dream and be like, I can do what I want without whatever I
right.
want.
Plus so whenever her spell ends, she physically appears where she is in the dream. So she's not by physically entering the dream and moving around, she's not restricted to a base camp, basically. And she doesn't have to worry. Actually, yeah, with a 19, it could be a defensive move. She doesn't have to worry about being physically vulnerable while she's sleeping.
What race is she? Does
Human.
Liz know?
Human,
She's
yeah.
human?
Well, she was outside of the dream. Inside the dream, she's a scary angel-looking thing. Who knows if that's still a human?
Okay, well, I guess we got to go to the dream and scry her at some point. I don't know if you want to do that now or save that for the next Dark News.
You could do both if you wanted to.
Okay, well, it's up to Estella. She's the one who controls dream access.
Why don't we wait until we've done all our research and then do the scrying?
Okay.
Did you want to go next, Ty?
I'm kind of thinking, I don't think I have a lot for Liz to actually research. I think she's just playing in the stacks.
Okay.
If there's anything Nibbles wants to give her that she found, I will take.
I don't even think I think they're not trying to be secret about this. Anything that you all talk to them about that seems interesting, they are taking notes on and will ask questions occasionally to try to get more information to add to the archive. Is this something that once you notice people want to be cagey about, or are you open with the information? Probably in this case specifically asking Corwin just based on the fact that they would be interested in an insane cleric who wants to live in the dream.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. What kind of stuff would Liz be interested in potentially learning about by accident?
New forms of magic, anything to help with magical item creation.
Can I give you a hook, Ty and Nibbles?
Okay.
The old civilization that created things like Endarda?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, she just... Ooh, magical item or magical thinking being.
Yeah. Creating a sentient magical item. That's pretty cool.
Intentional sentient magic items.
She'll take in accidental, unintentional as well.
Yes, there's just probably a lot difference in the efforts.
Okay. Yeah, give me a D100 luck roll. That's pretty good. You come across a tome that discusses higher level concepts in item enchanting. Specifically, that gives you now an in-game way to know how long each individual level of a item would take. So you have all of that information available to you now. There is some information not specifically referring to the Mythalar, but talking about items that are more powerful than magic that a quote-unquote mere mortal could create, that doesn't really tell you anything new, but is kind of a second source of information about confirming the things you already know about the Mythalar. As far as sentient items, it wouldn't function this way in game, but the information that is available lets you know out of game that the only way to have a sentient item would be to magically create the consciousness. There's no such thing as trapping souls of people in items in this world. So I guess that's more of a lack of information.
So it's the magical version of a neural network.
Yeah, basically.
Nibbles, can I jump down to secrets with you?
Okay, sure.
Ooh.
Ooh, secrets.
I just realized this campaign really is Nerd Squad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what topics Lycra's going to be researching?
No, but I'm assuming some sort of transmogrification stuff.
Exactly.
And possibly
Political
soul
philosophy and people who have intentionally cast spells like clone and transmogrify. First-hand accounts or whatever applicable.
I'll just tack on to the end of that unwillingly. It's not possible.
How would you create a conscious?
There's no specific information on that. In fact, with that role, the magic that you're aware of doesn't allow for something like that. That is beyond your current magical comprehension.
Commune with... Assuming we're here for multiple days, Liz will try to commune with her god again.
Okay.
And
Does
you
Zarek
put a
hold down on that?
It's... Technically, they can reject it if she asks more than once a day. There's a 25% chance of rejecting, so I guess she could do it again, but...
Okay.
But also, I don't know if her gods would, reject her request.
Yeah, so what's your first question?
Can you put a consciousness? Can you make an artificial consciousness?
No.
Does. Mm. Thanks, love you, bye.
All right.
I'm sorry, but that is so fucking Liz.
No, yeah, that tracks.
I'm just gonna try. I have to try and figure out how to make an artificial consciousness. Is oh fuck, what's his name? Asmodeus? Why do I am always so bad at remembering who names are?
Well, that's
Oh
the
yeah,
name.
Asmodeus is right. Yeah. I will. So this is getting into territories of not letting you make a roll that you can't succeed on. I'll just say that.
Doesn't mean Liz isn't gonna get distracted by it.
That's fine. And you can have Liz get distracted about it. I just didn't want to waste you, the player's time.
I figured if this was something that was even possible, which I didn't think it would be possible to do, it would be like, a long process.
Yeah. And
I don't even know if she wants to do it. She just wants to know how to do it.
for Jamie's benefit, there is a logical in-world reason why I'm saying this. If you want to know, I can let you know.
That's fine.
But yeah. Based on everything that you all have available to you, as far as you can tell, there's no way to create an artificial consciousness the way Andarta has been created.
Corwin, can I talk to Andarta?
Sure. Andarta
How did-
manifests herself.
How did they get your brain into you?
Please make a... What kind of check is this for Andarta to make?
Is she trying to recall something? Is she trying to deduce something?
What is medicine?
Medicine's wisdom.
Have her make a wisdom check.
What's her wisdom score?
14, so +2. Not proficient. She says a lot of words that your character has no frame of reference to understand. So she does her best to explain it to you, but imagine you getting transported back to the 1600s and trying to explain to people how electricity works.
Yeah, no, this is a cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. So she explains it to you, but you don't understand it.
We're telling a coal miner how to build a quantum computer chip.
That is way closer to what I'm thinking than you might have suspected. I guess you've stumbled on enough. Players can now know, basically, this is techno magic.
Yeah.
Spelljammer!
There's one last question for Andarta.
Okay.
Were you ever a human? Were you ever a living being?
No. Or, well, I believe she would consider herself to be a living being currently, actually. You have an existential conversation about what it means to be alive.
Liz will apologize for making assumptions to Endarna.
She understood what you were getting at, but felt like being pedantic.
Liz understands this concept and appreciates it.
Mhm.
All right, that was enough of a distraction.
Yeah, that's valid research.
I feel like Liz is just trouncing all over this place, running around.
This is
Just
probably the most excitement this place has seen in years.
Centuries.
None of the assistants actually shush you, but you can see that at least one or two of them has wanted to. But you are the honored guests, so they don't. Anything else anybody else wants to look up?
Lycra's busy trying to find books on political philosophy and anyone that's used clone or transmogrify spells intentionally, preferably first-hand accounts.
Okay. There's a lot of political philosophy, and she can nerd out about that significantly. I don't think there's anything earth-shattering there, so we'll just say that she finds that.
She finds 3 copies of the Machiavellian's The Prince, all of which disagree with each other.
As far as first-hand accounts of people that have used clone or transmogrify. No. Clone or simulacrum.
Simulacrum, yes.
Let's see here. Simulacrum is... interesting. I don't think there's any record of simulacrum in here. That's not a spell that Hell's... Actually, both spells. They both are only Arcana Cleric or Wizard. So yeah, neither Simulacrum nor Clone are familiar to Asmodeus's archives.
Then what about philosophical pieces on reincarnation?
There's a lot of stuff from a druid's perspective about reincarnation.
Okay. It's very much going to the, well, if there's no books about Plato, at least let's find something about Nietzsche. Not the same topic.
You do actually find one musing from a druid from eons past about trying to control the reincarnate spell at all instead of relying on the random nature of the new form. And the text goes on quite a winding road, but eventually the conclusion that it leads to is the chaotic and whimsical nature of nature magic doesn't allow for that kind of control. So it's not stated in the text, but sort of the corollary of that is to have any sort of effect like that would require arcane magic.
Still fascinating.
And maybe even a little bit of the implication that, from a druid's perspective anyway, that is... Nah, never mind. Forget that sentence. We'll say this particular druid doesn't think it's possible at all.
Oh, there's a Vidalcan 4,000 years from now who sure wishes that was less random.
I don't know, maybe not. Maybe he's cool with it. He does work on a boat, so comes in handy being able to breathe underwater.
Quite true. Regardless, yeah, basically she gets big into the philosophy books after that, and if Asmodeus ends up being around, she starts having conversations with him just about his plans for future relationships with the neighboring nations, since there was just this whole stupid war of conquest bullshit going on, and whether he tends to favor either punishing or taking over territory from Phlegethos as a long-term strategy, since they are the ones that technically instigated, even though Phlegethos themselves aren't there anymore.
That is something that is very much on his mind. What he will tell you now, they have installed an interim government and are working towards... He has no designs on taking over more territory. He's got enough headaches as it is. And he is going to try to figure out what the people of the nation want and whether or not that's conducive to long-term stability. He is interested to hear everybody's, not just Lakers, but the entire group. He at some point would speak to you either as a group or individually and see if you have any suggestions on individuals that you have come across in your time in Phlegethos that might assist in this.
Oh gosh. I swear there was an NPC that I really liked in the capital, but now my brain's gone blank.
And that's something that does not have to be answered right now. If you want to think about that in between, you can certainly come back to it later.
Yeah.
I think he would also ask, I think he would probably, it's based on the way he got the information, start with Estella, but he might end up at Lycra talking about bringing all the refugees back and helping them out as well.
I mean,
Just looking at Estella, might your friend know some people who would be good in that role? Might your friend be good in that role?
Yeah. I'll let him know that things have calmed down and anyone who wants to come back can come back the way that they left. Or maybe Yeffin can help them. 7 at a time.
Okay. Would you facilitate communication between Yeffin and Asmodeus if he requested that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. That all happens.
Okay. I mean, it does sound like we're here for a few days.
Yeah, I think so.
Should we take off
Anything else
another day or
anybody's
two of
looking up?
creation?
Yeah, once we're done going through the archives, I'll tell you how many days it's been.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll go next. So there's two things that Estella wants to research. The first thing, it kind of sounds to me like is going to overlap with what Andrea wants to do, which is like research of the planes and how the planes work. And what are planes?
And what's this
Why do
ethereal
they
plane?
reflect the prime material, that sort of thing?
Yeah. Or maybe the prime material reflects one of the other ones. We don't know.
And what's this ethereal plane that Lycra can look into but doesn't see anything because it doesn't exist?
So if that is also what Costa wanted to do, we can save that.
Yeah, I think we should save that.
Okay. In which case, the other thing that Estella is looking to research is information about the far south of the continent. She's basically trying to see how closely the sort of reconfiguration phenomena lines up with what happens in the prime material. So any like reports of people that have gone down there, any kind of like geologic surveys.
Okay. Yes, so similar to what you experienced in the Feywild, there is definitely an effect down there. So in the Feywild, it was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe in the Feywild it's more of a heightened sense of everything that makes up the Feywild as opposed to the reconfiguration that you see in the prime material.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just giant, deadly, murder you plants, and people had not gone very far into it.
Right.
Here in the Hells, it's a bit of a combination. There are it's certainly hostile. There haven't been incursions into it very far that have come back. There are several accounts of expeditions that went in there and then were just never heard from again.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's similar in the Hells that it's more contained than in prime material.
Okay.
And this is again just extreme and violent escalation of everything that is the Hells.
Yeah. Sorry, I just thought of two more questions.
Mm-hmm.
So the first question is, I want to see if I can find any record of phenomena that seems to bleed across planes besides like the physical nature of the world and this whatever's going on down south.
I'm not really sure what you're looking for there. Like,
Estella is just trying to see if there's anything else like this anywhere in the world that somebody has documented. Where
Got you.
like
I believe the answer to that is no.
Yes.
It seems very centered on whatever this physical location is in each of the planes.
Okay. And the second thing Estella is going to research is any information they have on angels.
Oh. Is that something Chamie would like to tell us about?
I haven't. This might be a thing we have to come back to next.
Okay.
Because I haven't really thought about what kind of information these guys in particular would have.
This jumps, I think, a little bit into the discussion of the planes because something that we haven't touched much on is Elysium,
Mhm.
which, unless it steps on your toes, I think is where angels are from.
Yep.
And specifically, the piece of interesting information that Andrea is going to come across is that until Andrea brings it up, nobody in the Hells has ever heard of the Shadowfell or the Feywild. So, I think if there's anywhere other than just going to Elysium that would know about Elysium, the Hells is probably your best bet.
Okay. Then I will figure out what Estella finds. Or you and I will figure out what Estella finds.
Okay. And I think that is the same for the Shadowfell and the Feywild. They don't really have never heard of the Hells or Elysium.
Or very, very little information about them.
Yeah. Which is something I think Andrea could corroborate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, that was Estella's plans.
Okay.
You forgot about world conquest. Sorry, Quas is not here to accuse you of being the BBEG.
Look, we have more than one of those now.
Yeah, but Estella's are BBEG.
We do. Who's the other one?
Corwin's been getting a little crazy.
Lycra's literally trying to become a dragon.
Sorry, Ty?
Corwan's crazy, not big bad evil guy.
Not yet, anyways.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to chat about?
Not for Corwin. He's too single-minded to focus on other things.
Okay, so I'll say at that point, between all the travel and the time spent looking through the archives, we'll call it four more days.
Okay, well, that should take me to 7 days of Zagdan casting Identify on the Mythalar.
Okay.
So the Mythalar can now identify.
Yeah, I don't think that does anything other than you can spend one charge to identify a thing.
Yep. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted.
126 nibbles.
All right. And maybe we won't decide this now. I will suggest that the group continue to do downtime until, would you say 126?
Yep. As long as I keep getting Liz's help.
So I would suggest that the group find a way to kill 10 more days.
We can do that.
Yeah.
More research. And Wavium.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I can't type. Jesus.
Can't type Jesus.
So 156 days?
Yeah. So I think what we'll do is the first session of next arc we will dedicate to going through that process. Or maybe not dedicate. We'll spend time going through that process during the first session of next arc.
Sounds reasonable.
God damn it, hang on a second. close the mythalar sheet without saving. What was the other things that people were adding? I was adding Mind Spike.
Big beast and
Yeah, that's already in there.
I don't think you had anything extra other than you starting on Mind Spike. Bigsby's hand is Corwin. Chill Touch is Andrea. Healing Staff is Liz.
Oh, the mansion.
Ah, yes.
The next 8 months of mansion spells.
Yeah.
The Javelin and the Gem off, right? I think he took Darkness off. Or restarted Darkness? I wasn't clear on what happened there.
Yeah, Corwin can't do the same kind of darkness as a warlock can do, so.
Yeah.
And then. Which is 7th level. Okay, thank you. And can I assume that Andrea finishes her Chill Touch cantrip?
Yes, you can.
And that's 0 charges?
That leave for now. Just mark it as complete. Andrea was attempting to do something with it other than just being able to cast a spell. So I'll have to go back and workshop that with Quasta.
Ask Nibbles.
Cantrips don't take charges, so you can at least know that it is a 0 charge.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'm gonna see about ordering this Chinese food.
Chinese food. Yeah, I'm getting hungry too. So we will call that good for now. There will still be more time to talk about downtime stuff at the beginning of next arc, specifically because Quasta is going to get Andrea's research in as well. So if you think of stuff, write it down.
Will do.
So next week we will do board games, and then the 9th we will pick up on my end.
Okay.
Sounds good. Everyone remembers where we're going with that?
I gotta remember how to fight her and dragon again. Yeah, we were talking about going back to Vrogel, right?
Yes.
I believe you guys are going to Aquilonia.
Yes. Because we think that might be the next lead on Ayun's person.
Yeah, that's not why Rizwan wants to go there, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Kamail also wants to find information on his god that might be there as well.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yarp. Okay. We're going to break then?
I think so.
Yep, unless somebody has something else, I think that's it.
I do not.
I think it's reasonable.
Well, in that case, I'm hungry.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
You have to go do some dishes.
Hi, Hungry. I'm David.
Haha.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, Miss.
Bye.